Hi, Story Snyder. How's it going? Yeah, um, I make my I make all of these, as you can see, one by one. This one's taking a lot of time. I have to wait for the concrete to gel up before start working on on the next step of this cast. Um, yeah, I can do any colors you like. The colors that you see at my Etsy shop, which I'm going to type my Etsy shop into the text again here. Take a look at the text, and I'll just in case you I'm sure you probably have it, but here, anyway, check this out. Okay, that's my Etsy shop where you'll see photos of everything. And at Etsy is just pure green. The peas, but what I do more recently, what I've been doing is making the peas much more of a pea green, like a very light green. And I do that just by taking that dark green that's the outside of the peas in the pod color green. If you want, I can run and get an example of this and just hold it up in front of the camera. You want me to do that? Okay, hold on just a second. I have to let this. So I'll be back in 90 seconds. Just one. Okay, Story Snyder, here we go. Can you see that? This is this is the way I've been doing it more recently, and I'm not sure. I've I've put buffing wax on it, but I haven't buffed it yet, so it's kind of dull looking. But watch when I rub it, it gets a little shinier, just the right amount of sheen. I like I like wax polish because it gives a good shine, but not a plastic shine. No, I don't mind at all. This is one that I made just for just to have it in store in case someone ordered it at Etsy or if they bought it at my farmer's market stall. I have one more actual one I'll send to you. I'll show you the back. It's got my signature, number, date. Yeah, I really have to update my thumbnail photo because can you can you tell that the peas are lighter here? They actually are a little lighter than that pod. Okay, and so you can get to my Etsy shop, right? Okay. Thanks a lot. I'll make sure I don't drop it on on the way to packaging it up. I forget if I have this one at my Whatnot shop. If I put it up there, you could order it from Whatnot too, if that's more convenient for you. Now, if anybody else orders this today or within the next few days, I will cast a new one, and it'll take a couple of days. Okay, I'm going to go put this back now. This cast is taking a long time because this particular batch of Rapid Set brand concrete, well, it's grout actually, because it only has sand in it as aggregate, no pebbles. It seems to have a lot of vinyl in it, and Rapid Set sometimes, to me, it seems like it varies a lot in how much vinyl flow regulator they mix into it. In the summer, they seem to put a lot in, and that keeps the concrete very fluid and lava-like right up until the minute it sets. But it's so fluid that it doesn't lose its slump while you're working with it as much as it otherwise would. And it's losing slump but remaining flexible that makes it workable with your hands like clay. Like right now, it's kind of like that kids slime stuff that they play with. As soon as you agitate it, it liquefies and starts to flow. And it won't stick to the walls of the mold as easily as when it does not have very much vinyl in it. By vinyl, I mean usually something similar to Elmer's glue that just keeps the cement fluid with absent water. So it requires less water to keep it fluid, which strengthens it, but it also makes it, like I said, more difficult to work as a clay. So there'll be a very short window of opportunity to work with this stuff before it hardens up. And I'll just do that. It's going to work out. But as for now, even now, it's still kind of fluid. But I'm going to remain flexible. In a couple of minutes, I'll be able to start putting this into here and sticking it up on the walls so we can have a hollow sculpture that's liftable and not that's strong, but liftable and not too clunky. That's what I'm aiming for. And today, because of this brand, it's very good stuff, but it sometimes is inconsistent in terms of how much vinyl they put in. And I have a feeling they put more in the summer to keep it fluid for longer. There is an advantage to that. Although it's more difficult to work with, it requires less water, and that makes it stronger because on a molecular level, there's less water that's separating the chemical components that bind together to harden it up. So it's it'll be a more dense stone matrix, chemically speaking, when it's hardened. Gotta wait a second till everything's the right consistency. It's just too early right now. Wait a minute. If I add the slightest amount of water to this, it's going to get real fluid and it'll just take a long time to set. Without too much vinyl flow regulator in here, this would already be in crumbly cake state, I think. Really hard and non-flexible. Almost too late to work with. But as it is, it's still too early to work with. If I press this up against the side, it's just going to flow down to the bottom. So I've got to wait a minute. It's going to be good and strong here in the tail, though, where I need it to be, which is good. Let's try putting a little bit in there and see what happens. I'm agitating it to keep it fluid, so it'll just sink down to the bottom, and it won't, and air bubbles won't form. Then when I stop agitating, it firms up. I think I'll just keep doing this very slowly, work my way down. Look at that, it's so gummy. I might describe it. I can agitate it pretty much because that first layer that I painted on is, it's still got slump, but it's getting a little stiffer, but it's still flexible. That's the key. Still a little early to be doing this because this is all gonna be tempted to slump back down off the walls of the mold, but I just feel like doing it. I have what pilots call get-there-itis. If I pull really hard with the paintbrush and like try to paint it like that, it's going to yank the existing concrete off of the wall of the mold and just mess it up. So I'm painting, but in slow motion. It's like painting, but slow motion. Don't make a bubble there. This is the fish I'm making, by the way. Boy, this is taking a long time. It's going to be good when it's finished, but I have about 16 sculptures I want to cast today, so I wish they didn't put so much vinyl gum into this concrete. It's still the best brand, Rapid Set, for this kind of casting. I've tried Quikrete Vinyl Patch, and it's a really good concrete for this kind of casting, but it's slow. It takes about 2 days to harden up enough to take out of the mold, and I've wasted a lot of time by not knowing that and trying to take vinyl patch casts out of the molds too early and just breaking them up. Other cheaper mortars like Quikrete Masonry Mix or Mason Mix, it's really cheap. It's almost free. It's like $8 for an 80-pound bag. That's an almost just negligible price. And it's good. It's very good, but it takes about 7 days. So if you're in a hurry, you just can't use it. It takes 7 days to harden up enough to take the sculpture out of the mold. Now here, it looks like I'm able to, this still has a lot of slump on it, but if I don't agitate the mold, this, even in this fluid state, this concrete is is allowing me to build up about maybe an 1/8 of an inch wall around structural wall for this sculpture, which I'll thicken it up a little bit later when this gets hard enough to mold like clay with my hands. But for now, that's good. So, painting in slow motion. I can't do this today. I'll just have to go slow. Do more tomorrow. Do half today, half tomorrow. Can't complain though. That means I sold a lot over the weekend, so gotta be happy about that. Okay, slow. I want to keep mixing this because it's hardening up, but it's still, look at that. Even though it's hardening up, it's still got slump, and slump, which basically has zero slump. So we just have to finesse it. Filling this in, yeah, that's getting a little bit workable. I want to fill it in so there are no voids or bubbles, and I can't add water because that will just make it too slumpy. So I've got to just use my fingertips now. Yeah, this is getting workable. I'm starting to be able to do everything with this that I would if it were clay, except I have to go in slow motion. If I go fast, it's going to grip that first crucial layer of concrete and just tear it away from the wall of the silicone rubber mold. So just slow motion. It's like calming. Gotta be like a Zen master. There, that too much slump. It's just slump. But let's work with it. Come on. I'm thickening it in areas where I know this sculpture tends to need strength. It tends to break here. It tends to break here and here if you don't cast it thick enough. But I don't like to cast it solid. It's just too clunky and heavy. Plus, I have to carry it to the farmer's market. So, yeah, we're getting there. Look at that, slumping down. Push it. Just leave it. Okay, push it and let it firm up for a little while. I gotta go over here. Now this is getting hard. It's kind of almost like saltwater taffy now. It's getting gummy. This is why I have to charge $168 for this fish. I mean, some people say, oh, I'll give you 20 bucks for it. And I say, oh man, I can't. That's firming up right here. So, but if I work with it slowly, it's not as it's not rigid. Slow and jiggle it a little. So I'm not worried about that hardening up yet. The worst thing to do when you're in this kind of casting is to get, like I said, get there-itis, which means you just have to get there. You have to get there. You gotta finish, and to panic because you think the concrete is solidifying too much, too fast. But it can get pretty solid, and you can still work it back into a workable state with a little water and agitation. So you just gotta not panic and work slow. I'm going to go back over this with a spoon later to finish off the, but I've still got tons of structural work to do down in here. This is taking a long time. Okay, here, this is a weak point. I want to make it strong. So yeah, see now, if I work slow, I can use it. It's starting to act like clay. And this is like a short window of a lot of vinyl fluidizer, I call it. It's basically like glue, like Elmer's glue or something. And it makes it easy to pour for contractors who because it requires less water. But it's, for me, it's not good because it gives me very little, small window of opportunity between slumpy and unworkable. So it's very little time during which to be able to work with it like you would clay. This is clayish. So now's the time to work with it. I'm just going to use just tiny bits of water. Push it in there and make sure there aren't any bubbles. I think what I'm going to do is just put in a structural layer right now, and then I'm going to come back after it's fairly rigid and just slosh around some really liquid stuff just to give myself a good surface on the back. It's totally, whoa, that is hardened up. Shoosh. It's still okay though. Okay. Yeah, this is the way concrete is different when, okay, now this is getting hot, so that means it's really starting starting to set, so it's time to just put water in it, kind of reconstitute it. It's getting crumbly, so I got to remix this with a little more water. It only takes a tiny bit. That's one of the advantages of having a lot of vinyl in it, is that it takes strength. It won't be weakened. You don't have to add much water. Okay, let's put this in there. Just stick it in there and push. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Okay, come on. Now I'm panicking and hurrying up. See. I've got to make sure there are no voids and air bubbles. I got to lay down a really good layer here as this stuff hardens up. It's gonna work. I am getting a little panicky here. Stay calm. There. Somebody better appreciate this fish. Around, I think I've got good coverage. I don't know if I have voids and air bubbles in the concrete. I'll just have to find out later, but I think I've got a pretty good coverage of the inside of that mold up in this front part of the fish. I think I've got this area pretty well covered, but there's a lot to do here still. Just this concrete is hardening up. Okay, remix. Yeah, that's got a lot of vinyl in it. That's why it takes so little water to make it. Okay, now this is, oh, this is good. See, this is losing its slump, and it's brushable almost. So this is what it should be like. This is what I like it to be like. I'm gonna brush that on. And it'll. Now I can go fast because this stuff is soft and it doesn't adhere and yank on the existing layer. It's hardening up pretty quick though. I want to keep this sculpture light. That's why I'm going to all the trouble to make it fairly hollow. It would be simple if it were solid and all I had to do was dump the concrete into the mold and walk away. I'm making sloping walls, and I'll add a very messy. It takes a long time, but I think I'm I've got a good structural base here, so it doesn't matter now. After I get this little bit done here and clean up the edges a little, I can slow down and take my time because it doesn't matter if it solidifies before I add the finishing touches. I just want to get a good structural layer all around. So I'm going to use my fingers again. Okay. I need to create a little hanging point here. Clean this up. Clean it. Clean. Okay. Swimming. Boy, this concrete. I think it's and I'm just going to work with it. This is going to be a hanging point, so you can put a nail here or here and just hang it, or a hook or whatever, a deck screw. And then I don't need hanging wires in the back of this sculpture. I can just sort of sculpt a little hanging point back here. Okay, this will do it. Okay, now I can to work with. I don't need it to be workable anymore. I'll come back and put a nice smooth layer, create a flange all the way around here. And this hanging point will work. I'll create a hanging point here. Okay, I'm going to clean up this bucket before things get rock hard over here. I just realized another reason my concrete hardened up so quickly is while I was waiting for that first layer to deslumpify, uh, I was adding more dry concrete to the fluid concrete. Added a lot less water. I mean, sorry, added a lot more water and kept it fluid. The air is warmer now than all winter. It's been really cold, so the concrete has been setting much slower. But yeah, this is already sanding it a little easier later. And then I'm gonna get some clay-like concrete with less water and make a flange around here. So anyway, this is what it's gonna look like on the bottom. Let's do a little more. This took a lot of time. All right. First, I want a very fluid layer. So I'm going to just use a lot of water and just cover everything with that first. Structurally, it's just kind of okay. But it's not going to bear much structural function. It's just going to smooth off the back. And dump it back out and get a nice surface, a little smoother surface. A lot of hot, dusty sanding tomorrow. Make life a little easier. And then, all right, fill in any little voids there. All right. So that's kind of a non-structural finish layer. All right, now I need some hard clay-like concrete to make a dump all this out. Don't break. Okay. This is crazy. It's taken way too much time to cast this. In cold weather, I could cast this fish in about 20 minutes. And here it's taken about an hour just because the concrete is acting really funny in the hot weather. So now, what do I do? Do I add more concrete and make this? I guess I have to. But it's going to harden up real fast. It's too slumpy to work with. It'll just fall. I want to try to make a flange, but it'll just fall. Let's see if I can do something here. Ridge at this weak spot back here. That tail is a weak spot, so I always build it up a little bit and makes it strong enough. But this is so slumpy, I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah, it's still too flowy. I'll add a little more. See what happens. Keep working this stuff. I think I can make it workable. Okay. All right, that'll be sort of a working blob. But meanwhile, I'm going to go wash this off before it hardens up. Okay, that's kind of workable. Let's see what I can do. Yeah. Okay. It wasn't adhering very well, so I gotta wet that. I gotta wet that surface, that concrete surface. So right here. There we go. It's gonna work. I have to let that harden because it's just too slumpy. Okay, that was exhausting. I got to figure out a new strategy for how to deal with this concrete in the warm weather.